From Oklahoma City National Stockyards we drove to Woodward, from Woodward to Bryan's Corner, and Bryan's Corner to Perryton, and Perryton we drove to Spearman, where we're gonna do a little interview with Rodney Farber. He's quite famous because he's been in several magazines with his truck already. I'm looking forward to this little interview. Okay, Rodney, we met each other many times already, here in Spearman and also in Cranfield's Gap during the Cow Horse Roundup. Could you tell me your name and where you're from, and maybe the young age you have?
Well, my name's Rodney Farber. I grew up in Clayton, New Mexico, on a ranch out west of Clayton. I've been in Spearman for 40 years. What else? I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're 25 years old?
Now?
Yeah.
71.
71 years old. A respectable age of 71 years old.
Well, I don't know about respectable, but it's there.
Yeah. Rodney, can you tell me something about your truck? I know it's a special kind of Camrod. What did you do to it, or what is like the length, the engine, the transmission?
Okay, the wheelbase is 286 inches. The engine it's got a 3406B Caterpillar and a 6-speed main box and a 4-speed auxiliary, both of them overdrive. And it has Kenworth air ride suspension on it with 355 rear ends.
How old is this truck?
This truck was a 76 model, so that would make it 43 years old. 43. Right?
I need to count. I'm not good at that. Yeah, I think it's right. I think it's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's still original, or there's been changes during the years?
The only actual original part of the truck is the steering axle and the cab and the roof cap. The rest of it's been replaced for various reasons. It came with a short hood. I put an extended hood on it. It came with torsion bar suspension on it, which is not a livestock hauling suspension at all. And I put spring ride on it, and that didn't work, and I took that off, and I put a Peterbilt air ride on it, and then finally went to the Kenworth air ride.
So you changed out the engine also?
Yep, it came with a 350 Cummins and a 13-speed, 444 rear ends, and I had lots of trouble with the Cummins, and I finally went to the Caterpillar. That was the way to go. And of course, I like the 2-stick transmission that I've changed.
Is it still working or not?
Oh yeah.
The 2-stick is still working?
You bet.
Good.
You bet.
Good. Does your truck have a nickname? It's actually a question that I don't need to ask because I can already see. That's Mathilda on the front of the hood. How did you come up with the name Matilda?
At one time I was running 2 trucks, and the other gentleman that was driving the other truck just started calling Matilda, and it stuck. And it's been Matilda ever since.
Do you have a nickname yourself?
Well, my handle is Goose. Well, it's wrong door.
It's on the other
Yeah,
side?
it's on the other side.
So everybody knows you by Goose,
Yeah.
or everybody knows you by Rodney?
Probably more people know Goose than they do Rodney.
How long have you been driving?
I started driving in 1973.
1973, and you
46
started.
years.
You started hauling cattle right away.
Yep.
How many trucks have you had?
This one and the one that my wife drove.
Only 2?
And
in all those years?
there's one sitting in the shop there that doesn't have a motor in it,
Uh-huh.
and I had a Freightliner.
How long do you drive this truck?
I started driving this truck in 1978.
1977.
77.
1977 you drove this truck, and if you got a load, you go again, and it's like an everyday business?
Yes.
You drive this truck every day?
Yep.
Summer, winter,
Yep.
doesn't matter?
Yep. It's a daily driver.
Yeah, I saw a cab over camera yesterday, and they said it's only a summer driver. So,
Oh no, no.
So,
If the phone rings, I go.
what kind of trailer do you pull?
I pull a Merit.
Why a Merit?
I personally like the Merit the best. Obviously, this one's 20 years old, and that's really old for a cattle trailer. I had a Wilson at one time, and it took lots of maintenance to keep it up, and this Merit just never have to do anything to it.
Okay.
And you know, Wilson is the most popular, but
Yeah, that's why I heard somebody told me in Amarillo from a dealership. He said Wilson is the best trailer on the market.
I don't think it's the best. I just think it's the most popular.
He's selling them, so he had to say that.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I feel like the Merit's the Cadillac at the trailers.
So you've been hauling cattle all your life. You grew up on a ranch,
Yes.
so that's why you haul cattle. Never interested in hauling other stuff, because I mean, cattle, you're always around, and like here, we're standing here. You even not loaded, but the flies are around it. So
No joke.
yeah. So why cattle?
I don't know. There's just something neat about cow haulers.
About cow haulers or the cows?
Cow haulers. Being the people you associate with.
Uh huh.
The ranch people and the other truckers.
Uh huh. What's
The camaraderie amongst the truckers.
That's why I want to say, want to ask you, is there a change between now and like when you first started driving a truck? Is there lots of like the brotherhood that was better in the early years than it is now?
I think it was better in the older years ago.
You think everything in the cattle trucking is better than now, or just the camaraderie?
Mainly the camaraderie.
But I mean, still people will pull over if you are having troubles with your truck, no?
Right. Another bull hauler.
Another bull haul, so freight haul will not stop.
Not as a rule.
Not as easy.
Not as a rule.
You are an owner operator, right?
Right.
Have you hauled cattle for somebody else when you started?
I drove this truck for someone else before I bought it.
Oh, this truck, you drove that for somebody else?
I drove it. Those people had the cab over that matched it, and I drove it, and then when the boy quit that was driving this, and I started driving it and then bought it.
Okay. Who do you haul for? You got
My main customer is Preferred Beef Group over at it's a packing house at Booker.
and always the same? Always for him,
Well,
or you?
I'm not adverse to hauling for anybody else, but that's my biggest customer
Okay.
by far.
But anyone that calls your number and say, I got a load of cattle that needs to go to New Mexico or Arizona, you'll step in the truck,
Yep.
pick them up, and
Yep.
load them.
Yep.
Well,
used to-
it's a question that I actually don't need to ask you, I guess. What's your favorite truck?
No,
I think it's this one. But,
Yes. My statement is, if I can't go on Matilda, I'm not going.
Wow,
I'm pretty serious about that.
Yeah.
If something was to happen to Matilda, I'd quit.
What if you had so much money that? What would you do if you had a lot of money? Would you still haul cattle, or would you, like, you say you're 71 years old, you have probably seen lots of billboards with big amounts of money. What would you do if you would win the jackpot for $350 million?
I'd drive a truck till it was all gone.
But would you do something to the truck, like building it up till it never kills you, or
I'd put a V8 Caterpillar in it.
maybe other things, or
That's about it.
you keep it this original paint?
Well, it's original paint scheme.
Mm-hmm.
It's been painted twice.
Okay. It still looks good. Yeah. What are you doing if you don't drive a truck? Like, you come back from a trip, you've been 2 weeks on the road, you come back home. What do you do in your free time if you don't drive a truck?
Oddly enough, I don't do much very entertaining in my spare time. I just stay home. But most of my hauling, when I said I haul for preferred beef, most of their hauling is like a 60-mile haul.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
I can do that a load or two a day, and that's no big deal.
So what are you doing if you come home? You just spend time with your wife?
Yep.
And you told me she's been a truck driver also?
Oh yes. Yeah. She's got more miles under her belt than I do.
But she hauled cattle also?
Well, she can. We're both getting up in years, and she's kind of getting stove up where she doesn't get around as well.
Okay. Yeah. But is she going with you?
She does on occasion.
And then helping you loading and unloading the cattle? She's
Yes.
not afraid of it?
No.
That's a diamond. Well, this question was on Facebook. We told people that we're gonna do interviews with truck drivers, and I asked them if they wanted to ask you to one of a few questions. And Fred Beveridge, you know him? You don't know him, Fred Beveridge? He's from New Mexico, I guess. He said you should ask everybody this, what do you think the direction of the cattle trucking industry is going to in the future, and especially what the people in Washington wants to try to do, like getting an ELD on it. What do you think it's going to be between, what the future is going to be between now and say 15 years from now?
I'd hate to say, because as much as downhill as I think it's gone, it's going to be a different deal. I am not for the ELD. Hauling livestock, it's hard to do it with an ELD.
Mm-hmm.
Because
it's hard to do without an ELD also.
Well, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, without saying things real derogatory, it's just really hard.
Yeah. So you think it's going downhill?
Yeah, I do.
Within now and 15 years, you see a complete different industry?
Even there's more, I don't mean to be derogatory, but there's more youngsters into it that just ram and jam, and
Mm-hmm.
if you haul cattle, you need to drive smoothly, and approach your stops slowly, and don't throw your cattle down when you take off. And you see a lot of, you hear the cattle rustling in the trailer when they take off. That's not good.
Oh. You're still interested in trucks, I see.
Yeah.
You still want to look around, see if there's a cow truck passing by. You're actually the same like me. I'm like, oh, that's a cow truck. No, that's all right. I didn't miss that one.
Yeah, it's not a cow truck. It's not worth looking at, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, there's some nice trucks amongst the hoppers and the oversized loads.
Yeah.
But yeah, to me it's and they say, well, my truck ain't clean, or I didn't wash it, or to me that doesn't make no difference. To me it's just you drive you haul a cattle pot, and that's more important to me.
Yeah.
And that's what we want to bring to the attention to everybody that's actually not a cattle hauler, to show them what kind of job you do.
Yeah.
And that you get out with it. And have you had any problems like when you were loading cattle or unloading? You ever got in trouble with cows that ran you over, or
Oh yes. Yeah.
you ever got real bad hurt, ended up in the hospital, or?
They hauled me to Amarillo in the ambulance.
Uh-huh. Oh.
Doesn't look like much.
Nope.
But it was broken in 5 places. But there was gashes in my head with cow manure in them, and that's not a good deal.
No.
You know. But
So what would your advice be to these young people, let's say 25, 30 years old? They hauled reefers and flatbeds for about 10 years, and they say, I want to be a cattle hauler. I mean, lots of people say you don't know what you're starting, because cattle hauling is not hauling pallets with fish, for example.
that's right.
It's complete different. So what would your advice be for these relative young people that want to start driving cattle?
You're hauling live animals that need to be treated as such, and they need to be respected, because they will hurt you. And you know, you need to learn to read them.
Mm-hmm.
Which is part of being around. And it's like I said, I grew up on a ranch, so I've been around cattle all my life. But they just get a look on their face, and you need to get out of the way.
Yeah. Yeah, you need to, if you go to a livestock auction like where I went yesterday in Oklahoma City,
Mm-hmm.
they're all waiting in the pen to go in the truck, but you have to go around them and in between them and getting behind them to move them up in the truck. So
You got to get in amongst them,
uh,
which is part of it. And that's part of learning how to handle the cattle.
mm-hmm.
You know, you can use, the youngsters use the hot shot too much. The hot shot is a good tool. You can't load cattle without it, but you don't need to abuse it.
Yeah. You got any funny stories that you had through the years? Like one of your trips to, I don't know.
We could sit here and talk, and one of them would come, but right now I'm just drawing a blank.
Well, I talked to Pete Robinson a few weeks ago, and he called me the other day. He said, I heard you were going to write a book at the end of the year. He said, you know what I'm doing right now? So, no, I think you're signing autographs because you're so famous now.
Yeah.
He said, nah, I bought something, he said, like Yellow Path. I think he meant like a notepad.
Oh, yeah?
And he said, I'm writing down my memories. And every time that I come up, I write the headlines on the notepad so I can remember them.
Yeah, there you go.
And he said he already had 2.5 pages.
Well, anytime you see a bunch of truck drivers together, there's always funny stories. One story leads to another.
Yes, sir. I listened to you when you went to Cranfield's Gap to the cow haulers roundup. You all sit together and then start laughing, start talking to each other, and you see each other again maybe after a year.
Yeah.
So
I try to go every year.
Yeah, me too. It's a nice little party, a nice come together.
Yes.
Yeah. Is there Anything that you want to add to this interview that I forgot to ask you?
It's been a good life. I wouldn't do anything else. I love it.
Good. I love it too, because I love the end result.
Yeah.
So.
And I wouldn't do anything else.
All right. Well.
And if I can't go on Matilda, I'm not going.
That's dedication, I guess. Yeah. Well.
And it's got its name and it's got a personality, and it's just. It's not quite as shiny as lots of people keep their truck inside, but
yeah, it's a work truck. It has to do the job, so.
That's true. And I'm not scared to jump in and go anywhere. And I thought when I put that speedometer in, I thought that'd be neat, but I never could get the speedometer to work.
Huh. Well, thank you for this interview.
Thank you.
I appreciate it a lot. And like I said, I appreciate what you do. And we got enormous respect for you.
Well, thank you. Attaboy. Here we go. Here we go.
Yeah, if you want to step in and you want to put it back in the shop, I understand that.
Still got air, smarty pants.